Bert Breer on Early Edition, NBC Sports Boston. He is saying that by the day, as more is known about how NFL teams view the top of this draft, it is becoming less and less likely that Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter will be there at 4 for the Patriots. He thinks that those guys are off the board. They are not going to be there, which leaves the Patriots with what at 4th overall? That means you're on to the Will Campbells, or you're on to the Membus, or you're on to the Grahams. That's where you are at 4th overall if you're sticking and you're going to use the pick there.
Right.
Tet McMillan, whoever it may be that you pull out of that top 10 pool of talent that is not one of the premier talents, which is Carter and Hunter. So why not get on the phone and move up a spot? Why not do that if you're them? You've got the draft capital. You've got the ability. You can maybe sell a team on moving back to be able to then use whatever they pick up to get back into the first round, take a quarterback later in that first round, not in the top 5. Things like that could happen. And so should they be working on that? I think they should. They should at least try. They should make an effort. Granted, it's only April 2nd, so they've got time. But why not move up? Call the Giants at 3 and say, listen, you can draft multiple players in this first round. We want to move up a spot. We want Carter or we want Hunter. You get to move back a spot. You can take whoever else. You have so many holes to fix if you're the Giants. And if you're not taking a quarterback there at the top, if you're the Giants, because you don't think anybody's worthy of it, well, how about getting 2 players in the first round by using what we give you to get back up into it? You know, pull off something big with what we send your way.
Yeah, it's really the second round. Like you have the 2 3s. Can you move up to get in the late first round to where, say, maybe you can get a starting tackle there? Now, it might not be your top 2. You might be the 3rd best starting tackle on the board, but you're getting a plug-and-play player there by just shuffling a couple picks.
You're talking about for the Giants, though.
Yeah.
But if it's them moving to 4, they'll probably take, if they're looking at a tackle, they might take a tackle at 4.
Right. Or just
and then take a dart late in the first round or top of the second.
Right. Just take Travis Hunter.
Well, that's what you're trying to avoid if you're the Patriots.
No. I'm not saying
from a Patriots perspective.
I think but I really think the Giants are taking Travis Hunter, and I would go get Jackson Dart at the end of the first. That's what I'd do if I were them. I would not take Sanders. I don't think you have a shot at Travis Hunter. Us. That's what sucks. Because now you need to restart and reshuffle your whole draft. Are you going Will Campbell? Are you going for Membu? And just taking the best tackle available. And maybe making a big guy, Moses, switch over to the left. And then give it a run. You going to take a shot at Tet McMillan? I don't know.
I mean, the only reason I wouldn't trade up is if you evaluate Will Campbell and you truly think he's in the same class as Travis Hunter and you think he's a can't-miss tackle, which, do they actually think that? Because if you don't, I'm with you. Then go up and get the elite player in Travis Hunter. And use that capital to go get a no-doubt guy that you think you can come in and make an impact day one.
That's what they should do. Greg Bedard from his podcast, the Boston Sports Journal. That is on how he wishes things will go for the Pats, and that is Travis Hunter dropping to them at 4. I think it's highly unlikely that he's going to be there at 4. That's what Bert was saying earlier in a clip we played. By the way, it's a Celtics home game happening tonight, and Golf is giving listeners the chance to fuel their way to the game. Right now, caller 10 to the contest line at 617-931-0985. We'll score a $50 gas gift card. $50 Gulf gas card. Thanks to our partners at Gulf Oil, the official fuel partner of the Boston Celtics. Call the contest line, 617-931-0985 for your chance to win. I'm also not loving the idea. Yeah, you know me. I'm out on Will Campbell. But I don't think the Patriots should limit themselves to drafting a left tackle, assuming it's at 4 or moving back or anything like that. I don't want them to pigeonhole themselves into that.
Yeah, well, that goes against what they said earlier, right? In terms of taking the best player on the board and not just drafting for need.
But that could also mean you move back and still you have a player that you've targeted as the best player in that range, right? From 4 through 14, we'll call it, right? Over the next 10 picks. And you say, well, we think the best player in this range is, let's say it's Membu. We don't think he's going at 4. We're going to drop back a few spots and take him at 7, 8, whatever it might be. That, to me, would be a more desirable scenario.
The only thing that makes me nervous about the trade back, though, is that we've seen this before, especially in the second round, where it's like, you know what? Let's trade back, get more assets. And all these receivers are pretty much the same. Ladd McConkey, Jalen Polk, whoever we wind up with will be good.
Pretty much the same. Same to same.
You know, and so then you wind up with the last receiver, and, oh, wow, turns out that guy can't play, right? And so you would think that's going to be a little different than the first.
He can play. He just didn't get developed.
Plug and play. That's right. The internal development wasn't there.
The internal development wasn't there when they brought his receivers coach from college with him. He didn't get the development. Yeah. That's always a development problem.
Yes.
He's actually awesome. It's actually a great pick, McComb.
You're too loading. Yeah.
Just ask Elliot Wolf. He'll tell you all about it. Development. They didn't get enough development. He's actually really good. I'm sorry I derailed your point, McCone. But it's a good one, though. Like, don't assume that moving back in a round is going to just be, it doesn't matter, we're all the same in this area.
I've just heard that before. Like, you know what, that cluster, as long as you're in that, 4 to 10 range, you're going to wind up with someone good.
But I'm talking about something different, which is, no, we don't like the guys at 4, and we know that, Will Campbell's about to come off the board, or name whoever these players are. Yeah. Mason Graham's going to come off the board these next 2 picks. We don't want either of those guys. So we're going to drop back 3 picks and get the guy we do want and pick up the pick along the way, because why not?
Yeah, if you can.
Developers. That's Mike Vrabel's staff. They're all developers, man. That's why they're here.
Better be good.
They're all developers. Developing the talent, without a doubt. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not eager for them to be like, well, we need a left tackle, therefore we got to take Will Campbell and we're going to sit here in 4 and do it. I think that you've got to get the player that you really believe in and really think can play.
All signs are pointing to the tackle, right?
Not necessarily.
It's one of the biggest holes you haven't filled yet. The guys that you probably want are going to be gone, the 2 big starts at the top. And now it's fill and need.
See, I think you're falling into the trap that I don't want them to fall into.
But that means, hey, we covet a tackle here. We may not get a tackle here, but we will trade out here. And then you might have 2 other tackles up for grabs for you. I don't know. That could be in play, too. Or they just might draft a running back.
If you look at the top 10 on the board, and as a team you say, well, we believe Mason Graham is the best player we can get in this part of the draft. Well, and I want them to draft him.
Yeah.
Always. Especially at this point,
though.
To a point. Because this is, you're in a rebuild here still.
Yeah.
And I know they're trending up, and they've definitely taken a step forward. But you're not at a point yet where you can be choosy based on position.
Yeah. No, I
don't think you can.
That I agree with. If you can get an impact player at a position of value, and I just don't think running back is it. That's why I would take Genti off the board for the Patriots at 4, even if he is the best player that's available. But if you can do that versus taking a tackle who you think might be able to play, then go grab the impact defensive player if he's there.
Right.
I'm on board with that.
I just think that if there are other names, you could throw any name out there from the top 10. If it's Jalen Walker, if it's Mike Green, and you say, wow, they fell in love with this player and they know he's a stud. They also know he's not going at 4, and they could move back as far as 8, 9, 10 and still get their guy. Well, then do that. Get the guy who can play. Don't draft Will Campbell just because you need a left tackle right now. If you think, well, he's the best left tackle, therefore we take the left tackle. Well, what if he's not good? Or you're not sure that he's going to turn out to be good? I'm not opposed to a trade down.
Oh, I'm not either.
But I don't want them to take a tackle just because they need one.
No, like the Okorafor pick. Like, we didn't know a lot about him. Maybe you heard about him. I need, known commodities. If you're taking picks there, I want known commodities.
Okorafor is free agent.
I know that, but, nobody knew who he was when he came here. Okorafor. Oh, he played for the Steelers? Oh, really? I don't remember him with the Steelers.
Well, it's because he was benched, yeah.
It's back in football, guys. Making a big comeback.
Tech McMillan. That's the receiver from Arizona.
Yeah.
You say Banks. I say, that's the tackle from Texas. Names that resonate with us. Something. Damn. Because if it doesn't, this can feel like I'm just drafting guys, draft guys.
I just don't understand why so many people are so quick to dismiss the idea of moving up and paying handsomely to do it in that top
You
five.
shouldn't have to pay handsomely.
Well, you should when there are 3 spots, 3 picks at the top of the draft, and there are 2 premier players, and one of them will go at 3. Yeah, you probably have to pay. In a bad year, bad draft year, yeah, you got to pay. You typically pay handsomely to move up at that part of the board.
Your first 3 picks, would you do it? First, second, and third rounder to move up to 3 and get Travis Hunter.
No.
Yeah, because they have 2 third-rounders. Yeah, so I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I would be on board with that, too.
Yeah.
You still have a third-round pick, and then you're walking away with Travis Hunter in that third-round selection. I would be on board with that.
Yeah, getting studs is so valuable in these drafts. It's not a game of quantity, it's a game of quality. If you come away from a draft and you get 3 players that are all awesome for your team as opposed to 7 starters, it's like, well, what do you want? You want building blocks or you want guys just to fill out your roster? And I think there's a case to be made right now that it's like, hey, they suck so bad. Wouldn't you take a bunch of starters? And that's an astronomical number. Nobody pulls 7 starters out of a draft. I'm just throwing it out there for the sake of argument. I don't know. I'd take the guys you're going to build a team around. They don't have enough of those pieces right now. They don't have enough of those young pieces, core young talent on this team. They've got 2 that we referenced.
That's true. Yeah.
You've got Drake May and you've got a disgruntled corner in Christian Gonzalez, who's apparently not happy about Juwan Bentley moving on.